I've got just a couple hours to get this thing ready for a 700-mile round trip. First thing we're going to need to do is go underneath the car and then make it look like we're cutting out the catalytic converter, since that's kind of high in theft right now. I picked up this bad unit from Direct Tools for only $29. Not bad. So this thing's got another bad exhaust leak. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the pipe past this little resonator has fallen off, and it looks like it's coming off of the cat as well, which probably would explain why it sounds horrendous. So I thought I was going to have to cut away at this, but it's looking like I might just be able to pull this off. That might be easier if I just do cut through this. That made pretty short work. Unsurprising that my popcorn welds did not hold. So now we're going to put this pipe over where that was. This is 1 7/8. I'm pretty sure that's the diameter, the outer diameter of these Foresters, but we'll see if it don't fit. And it looks like the 2-inch pipe would have been the better option, because this seems to be the exact same outside diameter, and stupid me for thinking that this was meant to slip over a 1 7/8. So off to the parts store we go. One noisy trip and about 15 bucks later, I got what I need. So now I get to do it when the exhaust is nice and hot. Oh, here's something I thought I'd never say. Somehow 2 inches was way too big, and there is a lot of wiggle room here. So somehow it's not a 1 7/8 and it's not a 2, which we'll just have to deal with. It should still be quieter than what it was before. At least I'm hoping. Interesting. The clamp here says 2 1/4 that just came out of the 2-inch box, and I'm inclined to think that this is a 2 1/4 inch deal I've got here. Let's see if the 2-inch clamp fits. That'll be the telltale sign if it is or is not what it should be. And the 2-inch clamp doesn't fit, so this is a 2 1/4 inch pipe. Oh, there's just no winning here. Yeah, it's probably not happening. Going back to the 1 7/8 pipe, I think I can fit it over. I just have to do a little clearancing. And light today is provided by Sam Young, so make sure you go and check out the link in the description if you want one yourself. Alright, let's see how that did. Still super tight there, but I might be able to work it over. Well, after some perfectly even trimming, no need to check it. All done on purpose. Alright, now we can go ahead and put the clamps on. One over here and one over there. Alright, I've got one clamp there, the 1 7/8, and the 2 here, because I couldn't find the other 1 7/8 that I had. And for some reason these exhaust repair kits only come with one clamp. If you're going to be bridging 2 parts of the exhaust, should be good to throw in 2, don't you think? But anyway, this is on there pretty tight now. I don't crank these down too hard because they will split this thin metal here, and then it'll just kind of fall off on its own. So I crank them down to maybe like 10 to 15 foot-pounds at the most, if I had to guess. And it looks like it should hopefully last me the trip I need it to last, and then eventually time to fab up a new exhaust for this thing. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, so GoPro is horrible even with the max ISO at night, but that is what it sounds like. The exhaust leak just moved back further is all. But it's a little more quiet now. The next step in the $900 car 700-mile readiness is an oil change. Good thing about these Foresters is you don't really have to jack up the front to do the oil change. Go up on ramps. If you want a more in-depth detail of how to do one on this car, check out this card right here on the top right of your screen. Now let's get to the top of this operation. So, oil fill cap, oil funnel, you know the deal. So far, no major leaks. It's 8:30 a.m. on a Friday morning, and we're about to get the journey started. So today I'm going to be driving my $900 Subaru Forester all the way to Hilton Head, South Carolina from about Central Florida, which is about 360 miles one way, about 360 miles the other way. Let's see how this trip will go. First fuel up, $51.80 for 11 gallons and 11.776 gallons. A little ways to go still. Not as quiet as I would like it in here. I don't know if another part of the exhaust broke apart, which is likely now that there's more pressure back in the further part of the pipe because of that exhaust fix I did, but it's a little quieter than I think it was before, so that's a plus. I'll check back in probably 50 to 100 more miles from now. So we've gone exactly 100 miles since we started the trip, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell in here, but it's a lot louder exhaust-wise than when I started the trip. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that either the repair I did has somehow broken apart already, or somewhere downstream a little further has gotten a lot worse. Maybe the muffler's clogged or something that makes once you get some good exhaust flow to it, some other parts start falling apart. I don't know, something I'll have to check out. So I guess maybe when I get off this road or get onto the highway, go to a rest stop, I'll probably just pull over, check out the exhaust, and then of course check the oil. When we started, the oil was about just about full, just under full. So we should be good. I just kind of want to check every 100 miles because this thing does leak a little bit of oil. It's been a couple more miles. Let's go check the oil. Oil's still just a tad under full, which is great, and I don't see any major issues with the exhaust, but it's definitely louder. I know it's going to be sideways for you guys, but the repair held. I don't know what's making all that noise. Maybe it is the muffler. We'll figure it out. Well, we made it to Georgia. It's been 5 months and 9 days since I was in Georgia last on this part of the road. Sweet. And so far, Forester's going well. Exhaust hasn't gotten any worse that I can hear. It's kind of about the same, and we're just trucking. Listening to some good music. It has been a few more miles, and the check engine lights come on. So when I go to stop, I'll see what that is. I did bring my scanner with me. Stopped to get a fresh tank of gas. Checked the oil. We were down probably just to about a little bit above the low point, so I added about 1.5 quarts, and now I'm just over the full. So 44 bones down here somewhere in Georgia, and I guess we'll figure out what we got to do next. Check engine light, I think it's just an evap code, so I'm not even bothering with it right now because the car's running pretty good. Time to get back on the road. Another quick update for you. Just got to South Carolina, so we have 36 miles left to go. So far, so good. I'm quite happy to say the Subaru made it in one piece, and so did I. And now it's been a couple days, and it's time to get going. I was just doing some renovations on a condo down here in Hilton Head, right on the beach. Very, very nice area. And I'm done with that. Probably be back here in a couple weeks. Don't know if I got to bring a Forester or another car or what the deal is. But so far this held up. But today we're starting the 360-mile trip back home. So I checked the oil. Now it's time to check the codes with my CG Select scanner. Let's read the codes here. Stored codes. Evap system, just like I called. Yep. I will clear it out. See if there's any pending codes. No pending codes. Back twice. Let's erase codes and get that check engine light shut off here. Show it in one little swoop. Yes. Get rid of them. Gone. Boom. Check engine light off. Now I'm not suspicious anymore. Let's get this journey started. We are now back in Florida with about 3.5 hours to go. Still have a little over half tank now. So we're still just cruising along, having a good time so far, so good. Almost at the halfway point, which is pretty awesome. This time it's only been a couple minutes since the last update. One slight issue is the AC is starting to get a little warmer. So it's still blowing cool air now, but eventually it will be just warm air. So I'm pretty sure I'm leaking some R134, and I had to put in a bottle like, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and it was ice cold for so long on the trip up and most of this trip down, but it's definitely starting to get noticeably warmer. So I have a small AC leak somewhere. I replaced all the AC O-rings in the system, so maybe there's something else. Maybe one of the Schrader valves is bad, or who knows. That's a diagnostic video for another day, but I'm gonna find an auto parts store and fill her up some, because it'll be pretty hot and I still have 3 hours and 21 minutes left to go. Bit of good luck here. Stopped at the O'Reilly's that was on the way. Found me an AC Pro thing. So let's get this party started. And we are certainly low. Well, it took a lot of the can and it's still not really even full, but listen to that noise now. It's never done that before, so that's something new. But AC related for sure. It's still warm too, which isn't a good sign. Maybe the compressor's dying. Oh well. A couple hours, I'll have to sweat it out. So it's been about another half hour. I decided to stop because it was getting a little bit too uncomfortably hot. Got my Ryobi fan out here, so in case the AC fails again, but when it was, you know, I can't speak, so let me show you instead. This can was showing like absolutely low pressure while it was on the car, and then after I took this off, maybe about 10 minutes of driving, I just checked it again, and you could see it's almost in the red zone. So I definitely overfilled the system, but for some reason it wasn't showing that when it was on the car, and normally it does, like when you back off and it will rise up and show you where it is, like especially when the compressor stops. It never did that, so I guess I overfilled, and I just went outside and in a nice controlled and environment EPA certified state thing, evacuated the system a little bit, so to speak, and the AC is back on and it's blowing cool. It's blowing cool, but it's not like ice cold, so give it some more time. But I'm definitely getting some kind of a funky idle. When the AC compressor is running, and that normally didn't happen before, so maybe there's still too much drag or something on the compressor. And I guess there's still a little too much pressure in the system, so I'll get a little bit more out and then see from there. Okay, so I stopped at the world famous The Orange Shop. Signs for everywhere when you come down here. Picked up some oranges, 5 pounds of oranges, and some orange juice and some marmalade, which I've never had, so I'm looking forward to trying that. Wasn't bad. It was like 35 bucks for all that stuff, and this is pretty cool. It's like a big orange grove thing, and I got rid of some more AC pressure, so now the AC's not freezing cold air, but cooler than ambient, and it's cooling down in here, which is nice. The idle seems to be happier with less pressure going through that compressor, but we're gonna see, because even before, when the pressure wasn't like completely high, or after I drained some off, it would still, like as I was driving, it would drag the engine, and I would notice it would be like a hard engine braking. Then the compressor would kick off, hard engine braking back on, and that can't be very good for the compressor or the belt, but I don't think the crank or the motor would really care that much. So we'll keep on going. I think we've got about just under 2 hours left to go on this trip. Hopefully everything else goes well. Another quick little update. Bailed off more pressure, double checked with the gauge, and now I'm just in the top of the filled zone, which is good. It was still dragging after I left the orange shop, so figured it wasn't good. Pulled over at a Pilot, which I'm here now. Filled up for 46 bucks, 10 gallons. Gas ain't cheap these days, and we have an hour and a half still left to go. So 86 miles, which means I'm within AAA towing if I need to be. Let's hope I don't have to use that. But let's keep going and see what else happens. Hopefully nothing big. If I had more time, I would go see some of those live baby gators, even though I did see 2 of them today, not today, but this week, down in Hilton Head. So I'm happy to report that there's no more compressor drag. It's a lot better, and now the air conditioner is getting colder and colder and colder, which is perfect, because it is a hot day out here in Florida. We're close to Ocala now, which is pretty good. Making some good time there. And then, yeah, still about an hour and 23 left. Only left the gas station a few minutes ago. This looks like a familiar sight, doesn't it? There's the MR2, there's Judy's Sentra, and somewhere in that garage is the BMW. So, the Forester did it. The Forester made a 720-mile trip. 2 days, 1 day going out there, 1 day coming back. Several days in between, of course, of doing some work, but held up great. Real proud of it. Check engine light back on, more than likely the evap thing again. And I only had to fill up once each trip, going there and then coming back, which is not bad. So that's pretty good on fuel. I'm happy about that still. But yeah, I guess if you have an older Forester and you've kept it in good condition, you could absolutely bring this thing. I wouldn't hesitate to go another 300 miles and do a 1,000-mile trip on this. Matter of fact, I have to go back up to Hilton Head in about 2 weeks, so I might bring the Forester then, and probably some more AC stuff, and just keep an eye on the oil as usual. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button if you liked it. I know this was more like a vlog style thing that wasn't really artistic in any fashion. But share it with a friend if they might be hesitant about taking their Forester on a road trip or something of that nature. And remember, as always, keep it foul.